Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Ali Haider. I'm a research associate at New House, and it is a demo video of the SPS. This is the layout of the SPS. As all of you know that SPSS is a statistical software from IBM. Its name is IBM SPSS. It has versions. Now the latest version is SPSS 28. This is the layout of the SPSS. In the top left corner, you will see the menu bar. It has file, edit, view, data, transformation. These are actually the tools or the options that will help you to analyze your data. In the file option, you will see here that to create a new data, to create a new syntax. It is actually just like the other Windows application, and from here you can import the data by going to the import data directly from the Excel sheets, CSVs, and other. Just like from the analyze option, these are the analysis. These are the whole statistical analysis of from frequency analysis, from descriptive statistics to the hypothesis testing. Here you can see the Bayesian statistics, tables, correlations, regressions. You can also see how to scale the variables, multidimensional scaling. In the graph option, you can make graph just like the word format, and in this these are actually the help windows. We will guide you some sport forums and the other diagnostic tools and the help that you need. It can also give you an SPSS tool. So below the menu bar, you can find the options. Here you can see a folder, file, arrows. These are actually the most commonly used options from the menu bar. And this is the spreadsheet. And in the columns, you can see the variables when you enter your SPSS questionnaire in the SPSS, your research questionnaire in SPSS. The variables will come in the columns, and the rows are for the cases. You can say that it is important to remember that rows represent the participants and columns represents your questionnaire, or you can say your variables. In row number one, you can see the respondent participant number one or the respondent one responses in your on each variable or the on the each question. So this is the data. Here you can see the data you have collected during the data collection phase. In the top, in the left bottom corner, you can see this is the variable. SPSS has two windows, that is data view and the variable view. And in variable view, actually it is for the entering of your questionnaire, your research collection performer, your data collection tool, or the interview questions, or the questionnaire questions present in your questionnaire, or any variable that you have like gender, demographic variables, you have your qualitative or the quantitative variables you enter here. So this is just a quick round of SPSS. Now we will discuss the data entry of SPS. Here in data entry, we have two options. First of all, the option number one, you can go to the file, you go to the import data, and from here you can import an Excel sheet, CSV data, text data, or the data you have in all the any other format. So SPSS supports actually Excel format, CSV files, text files, SAS files, data files, DBase, and it not support byte text and other types of the data. These are actually the file extensions or the file format. So let's give it a try. I have an Excel sheet on my desktop. I'm gonna show you. We will go to CSV. I have already present a research questionnaire responses file just for the demo purpose. We will select the file, we will go to the open, and in this window, SPSS will take some time to decode your data that is present in this file. You can see from this box was empty, and now the SPSS is successfully able to record my data. I have all my data in this box, and I will go to OK, and my data has been automatically entered. You can see the other window that SPSS has shown me, actually it is the output window. It gives you the receipts or the summary of what the SPSS has done and what command you give to this software. So you can see that I have imported my all data in the data window. This is the first method or the easiest method. You make an Excel sheet or the spreadsheet. You made another Google form. You imported a Google sheet. You designed a Google form in data collection, and you collected your data by using the Google form. And now you have imported the spreadsheet that Google form has given you to, and you import that sheet in the SPSS. The other method for the data entry is that you go to the variable view. So you can see that this is just the when now one thing remember, when you import Excel file or the CSV file, it will automatically generate a variable window. Okay, variables are present in variable window. You can see the rows representing the variables like gender, age, qualification, experience, and these are the questionnaires like my manager, my manager, my manager. This is the first category. This is the second categories, and these are my questionnaires. So when you import an Excel sheet, SPSS will automatically decode the questionnaire. But in questionnaire, SPSS needs key. We will learn in the next in this video after covering the data entry that how to enter the variables. So the second method is by manually entering the data in your spreadsheet. Just you have added or you have manually made an Excel sheet, and then SPSS data window has the same sheet like the Excel sheet. So now the question is how to manually add the data. To manually add the data, I will go to the variable view that is present in the bottom left corner. I will select the variable. I will click on the 35 because we have added so many variables automatically. Now I want to manually add the data. So I will go to row number 35, my variable number 35. Now here you have to give a name. Remember one thing, never use space. You can use dash or the underscore for the name of the variable. It is just for the decoding thing. Okay. So let's take an example, gender new. I'm labeling it as new because I have already gendered, so I don't want it to get duplicate. In the type of variable, here you have to select either your variable is numeric, either your variable is qualitative, quantitative, categorical, ordinal, continuous, or discrete. So SPSS has made things easy for you. It has these categories of variables. If your variable is numerical or the quantitative variable, you have to select numeric. And if you have a qualitative or the categorical variable or the ordinal variable, you just need to select the string. And these are the other types of dot, comma, scientific notation, date, dollar, custom currency. These are the other variables. So gender is actually a qualitative variable, or sorry, nominal variable. It is belongs to the qualitative and categorical category, and in subcategory it is nominal variable. We just nominate people as male, female, depending on their anatomy and depending on their physical appearance. From here, I will select OK. Leave the width as default and in decimal places. Decimal places is actually decimal option is that SPSS wants to know that during the data analysis to how much decimal places you want your answer to be. So I don't have any decimal places for gender, so I will leave it as 0. I would suggest leave it as default. SPSS automatically gives 2 decimal places to the numerical variable. So in the label value, here you have to write the question, just same as you have in your research data collection tool. Like you have this question: what is your gender? This is my question. Here I have just named the variable as gender new, and now in label I will mention that what is your gender. This is the same question as I have in my research collection. Now in this value option, you give a key to the SPSS. SPSS don't know the alphabets. SPSS wants to understand the number, and it only understands the numbers as it is a computer, and in computer language it involves numbers. Okay, so I will put a value 1 for male. Male was my option A, so I have replaced option A with 1 and label it as male. I have an option 2 or the B, and I will label it as female. Label 3 as prefer not to say. Okay, so let's suppose I have a research questionnaire and I have my first demographic variable is gender, and what is your gender was the question, and it has options tick selection male, female, prefer not to say. It is a close-ended question. So I have given values to these by options and press OK. In the missing column, you can find these are actually SPSS wants to know that is there any value or the response from a respondent is missing. If there is missing questions in your data, you can give it like no missing values, discrete missing values, or the range. Like in discrete missing value, you can just say that I have 10 missing values. And in the range, you can say that I don't know the exact number. So you will give SPSS a range that I think my 20 to 30 values are missing. So if you don't have any missing value, leave it as default. And in align option, you can SPSS question that if you want your data to present it on the left side of the column or the right side. And in the measure option, SPSS gives you the options that you have mentioned your variable as string, and now SPSS wants to know you that is your qualitative or the categorical variable was nominal or the ordinal. So it is a nominal variable, and it is ordinal when we have levels like level of education. So role input, leave it as default. So the gender is actually nominal. So this is how I have added my question. I have just show you one example of manual because it is the same process for if you have 100 variables, the process is same. You just and remember one thing. Please select the measures and the types of variable correct because SPSS is a software and it gives you result on the all values that you will enter because it is programmed in this way. So you have to select the correct measures and correct types for the variable. And after adding a variable manually, you will go to the data view and you can see that the end I have my variable added like gender 1. So now here I can add it like 1 for male, 2 for female, 3 for prefer not, or you can just type it as male, right? Male, or you can just click on the arrow and you from here you can select as female. This is the manual method. And similarly, if you have I haven't given the values to these other variables that we automatically. So after automatically import the data in your SPSS, you just need to put the labels and the values. You just give them a values and labels and correct their uh, and just correct their variable type. Okay. So this is how we enter the data automatically and manually. Now the second part is that now after the data entry, so how to analyze the data. So for analysis of the data, we'll go to the analyze, and from here you will put and apply the statistics that you have in your questionnaire or in your methodology. So mostly we use descriptive statistics in our research, medical research. We will also apply regressions and other things. So I will here just give you a brief introduction of the descriptive I have given you. So this in descriptive statistics, you will go to the frequencies, and in frequency that SPSS will ask you that what type of analysis you want. Like descriptive statistics, I will select a variable on which I want to apply my statistics. I will go to the statistics option. Here I have mean, median, mode, sum. Okay. So from here you will select that which measure of central tendency or the descriptive statistics you want to apply. I say I want the mod because we can't find mean of categorical variables like gender, nominal variables. If we have age is a gender or level of education, I can give it a median or mod. So mean is actually calculated for the quantitative variables like age, like how many children you have, how old are you. These are the things that on which we apply mean age, mean education, and here in dispersion, these are the measures of dispersion like standard deviation, minimum, maximum, variance, range. So here you will apply the desired test or the statistics you want to apply on your analysis. So I will say that I will apply standard deviation, although it is not applicable on the gender, but just to show you, just to give a brief demo. So in here, then after choosing the statistics, you will go to the charts, and from here charts, you will SPSS ask you that do you want bar charts, pie charts, or the histograms. I will select that bar chart. And remember, if you want your SPSS to make you charts, then in the bottom you will find the chart values. Please select the percentage because the charts are more accurate in percentages as compared to the frequencies. In the bottom left corner, please select the display frequency table. And after selecting this, here, this is the output window. So in output window, SPSS will give you the result that you have applied frequencies. And here you can see that valid, what is your gender? We have 2 males, 2 female, 1 preferred not to say. So what is the percentage of this? Like 0.8, 0.8, 0.8 total. Valid percent is actually the percent that SPSS give you valid percentage because that none of the value is missed from this. Cumulative frequency, we have discussed cumulative frequencies in our lecture. Cumulative frequency actually is the sum of the row 2 and the relative frequency of it is the sum of the relative frequency of the row 2 and row 1, or the row 2 or the row of interest plus 1 row above the row of interest. And here you can see the genders, the bar chart. What is your gender? Prefer not to say like this much percentage. Okay. SPSS has given us the result for just our 5 entries because in our SPSS table, we have actually the so after here you can have an option to save the file or not to save. I will not save that file because SPSS just calculated the data for the 5 entries. Although we have 261 total entries that we have actually added automatically. So after filling this whole column, SPSS will give you the data entry. And from an analysis, you can also analyze through the cross tabs, through the frequency, through the descriptive. In here, you can also apply test of significance, like uh, so the descriptive statistics actually applied when go to the analysis. Qualitative analysis actually just done for the frequencies. And when you have quantitative variables, then it will apply on your descriptive. Descriptive statistics are applicable on quantitative like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, error. And in qualitative variables, you just need frequencies, you just need cross tabulations, and bus. So let's try another example. That is the other point is how to calculate the scores, the total scores of our variable. I have another SPSS form where I have calculated the mean scores of Likert scale. So this is the sheet that I have already decoded and I have already collected the total scores, and on this sheet I will give you examples of how to calculate the total scores of the data that involves scales like Likert scale, you know, strongly agree, disagree, neutral. So for the calculation of total score, you will go to the transform, and from here you will select as compute variable, and in compute variable you will choose that what variables you want to add. First of all, you will add type the target variable. You just enter the name. Remember one thing, never put the space between the names because it is just for your and SPSS recognition. So target variable is total, sorry, total score for total score that just for the example. I will select the variables that I want to add, and from here you can see a layout like a calculator. From here you can delete. These are the brackets, division, multiplication, minus, double multiplication, brackets. These are the numbers. So from here, plus second variable, plus third variable, plus four variable, plus five variable, plus variable. And then I will select. Sorry. See, I have added dashes and other things in my variable name. So SPSS didn't recognize this variable. And in here, this window, you will see that SPSS has given me a receipt for the sum or the addition of the scores of my these variables. These were the scale over the scale category of LF1. Like this is the Likert, and now I don't remember that what LF means. So here, this is the receipt. I don't want to save this. I will go in the data view, and here I will see and the total score of my LF1 category. That the total score of my respondent 1 or my respondent 7, my respondent 1 was 12, my respondent 2 was 6. And you all know that in the end of scales, it has interpretation. that if this score comes from 6 to 7, this means that high levels of knowledge, high levels of attitude, high level of burnout, and these things. These are the scales are actually for the qualitative analysis. So this is how we calculate the scores. Now the question is, if you want to compare the score for the mean knowledge with the age, then what to do? For again, you will go to compute variables, to transform, and you will go to the compute variable. Now here, I will select total score mean. Again, I will select. Now, after adding the name of the variable, will go to the function group. You will put statistical, and from here you will select mean, that you want to find mean of the variable. So here you will go to the total score, okay, and mean. SPSS given me the receipt that your command has been executed. I will go to the data view, and here you can find that mean. Although it came same because I haven't added some other variables. I just show you that how to calculate the mean. I have previously calculated the mean, like these are the total scores of lessons, various leadership, cyber loading, work procrastination, consciousness. These are actually the means that I have FAC1, FAC2. So these came in the negatives, and it is just for the practice purposes. So I'm just want to show you the process or the method that how to calculate the mean. The other method is like to calculate the mean is you can calculate it divide. Here you can see that I want to divide. I have, let's suppose I have 6 questions. So I will divide it by 6. One thing that I forgot to told you that in this box you will find the expression for the statistical purposes. For the median, here you can see that to calculate the median of variables, you need to type MEDIAN in this box and then bracket and then your variables. Never forget to put commas between the variables, and when your variables got completed, you just close the bracket, and just like that I want to calculate the mean bracket, then I will select my variables like f1 comma my second variable comma my third variable comma my fourth variable, and let's suppose I have entered my all variables. So after entering my all variables, I will just put a close bracket. I will select function group statistical. I want to calculate the mean. Then I will press OK. The SPSS has given me the receipt that my command has been executed. Now I will go to the, from here you can see that total score mean. I have my mean value for the total score lab is 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4. Now in variable view, if I want to compare, let's suppose the total mean is actually the mean knowledge or the mean attitude in gender. Okay, so I will go to the total mean. I will give it value like 2 is equal to because we have values, right? Here you can see that 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.5, 3, 1.75. So in the end of your scale, like 4.75, 4.25, what to do with these types of variables. So you will go to that because you don't have a key in a very large key for your decimal values or like mean. So in the end of scale, in every scale that you have used, it will give you uh, interpretation at the end of the scale, and it gives you like if you have your mean in like mild disease is mean score will be 1 to 2.5 and 2. From here for this purpose just you will go to the compute variable, sorry, you will go to the transform, you will recode into same variable or recode into different variables. So I want my mean score to be intact and I want to recode into different variable. I will go to the total score mean and I will label it as correct mean, label it as mean comparison, just to that change. You will go to the old and new values and from here you will select as range. It's like range from 1 to 2.5. These are the old values, right? Like 1 and so 1 to 2. Range lowest, two values. I will select a range lowest from 1, 1.8. It range lowest throw value mean is that from the smallest value to 1.8 and from highest value. So you can also give it a range. And you enjoyed this demo video. I'm so sorry for the surrounding disturbances if there is any in this video. And thank you. This is how we calculate. This is how we calculate the mean and total scores of the variables that involve scales of the questionnaires, that involves scales. And in the last that I would like to explain the chi-square. Actually, chi-square is a test of significance. It is used mostly in differential statistics, but nowadays most of the physicians and most of the researchers also apply it into the qualitative variables just to find the significant relationship between the two values. Chi-square is actually used to find the difference between the frequencies of two variables. So that's why for its statistical importance, we apply it to the qualitative also. Because in qualitative studies, we usually find the frequencies and we deal with the values or the measures of the frequencies. So that's why we apply chi-square mostly in the qualitative study. So the qualitative study are those in which we usually just discuss about the disease, we discuss about the burden of the disease, its dynamics, and its distribution in areas of time, place, and first. Chi-square has a value, significant value of 0.05. So if your value of the test comes like 0.049, this is not significant. But if it comes from 0 to 0.05, then it shows that there is a significant relationship between the two variables. Let's take an example like age and level of knowledge for diabetes. So if the value came after the correlation between the level of knowledge with the age, so let's suppose it came like 0.05. This means that there is a significant relationship between the level of knowledge and age. Like by increasing age, the level of knowledge also increases, and with the low age or in the young age, level of knowledge is not that like in adults. So this is about all about the demo of the SPSS. I hope you have understood